Welcome to the Danny Clinkscale Reasonably Irreverent podcast. Insightful and witty commentary, probing interviews, and detours from the beaten path.
Welcome to Monday Musings-Danny SportsWrap. It's sponsored by Dillon's Heating and Cooling. Go see Jeff and his fine crew, and they'll help you out, and they'll do it in a friendly way, too, and treat you like family, just like their slogan says. So Dillon's Heating and Cooling, the sponsor every Monday of Monday Musings, Danny SportsWrap on a Monday where we are feeling good here in Kansas City. Sporting Kansas City opened it up, and they won on the road. The Royals continue to carry the home fires and entertain people at their home stadium and do it in fine fashion and are a real feel-good story right now. Another win yesterday. Salvy Perez is doing his splashing by hitting balls into the fountain, and the Royals are at 9-5 and making everybody feel good right now. Is it only 14 games? Yes, it is. Are there occasional stories that you could come up with that maybe don't carry the weight of a 9-5 team? Yes, there are, but the Royals are playing solid baseball. They're catching some teams at the right time. Some other teams are coming to town with some injured players, and the Royals don't care about that. You can only play who you can play, and the Royals are doing it very, very well. We'll hear from Peter Vermes, we'll hear from Mike Matheny, and well, you'll hear from me, too, and we'll throw some other notes and fun stuff in as we get it cranked up on Monday Musings, Danny SportsWrap, right here at the Reasonably Irreverent podcast at DannyClinkscale.com.
More of Danny's Reasonably Irreverent podcast after this.
The bitter cold snap in February was just another intense reminder of how important it is to have a quality heating and cooling company on your side. That's why you need to know about my friends at Dillon's Heating and Cooling. Jeff Dillon and his top-quality staff provide honest, affordable, and reliable service all year long. Their number one priority is taking care of the customer and focus on being genuine, always following through and standing behind what they say and do. If you need HVAC or AC repair, it's important you get help from a team of professionals. Dillon's Heating and Cooling's team can walk you through a range of products, the advantages of heating and cooling systems, and ultimately help you find the best HVAC system for you. They're always glad to answer your questions and set up an appointment for an installation consultation. Whether you're looking to upgrade to a newer model of your current system or need one installed in a new home, give my friends at Dillon's Heating and Cooling a call today at 913-214-0529. That's 913-214-0529, or visit dillonsheatingandcooling.com to answer all of your questions. Dillon's Heating and Cooling. Their slogan is their goal, always treating you like family. Cinematic Visions has been an affordable solution for professional media production in Kansas City since 2003, offering award-winning video production and creation, as well as a wide array of digital and social media management services. From planning, scripting, filming, editing, and post-production, to delivering your product to a watching world, Cinematic Visions will provide professional and affordable services for you and your business with the necessary return on investment to make it all worthwhile. Cinematic Vision's goal is to unlock the power of storytelling through video and a strong online presence for your company. Beyond the numbers, they want to inspire and evoke your clients to feel and act. Let my friends at Cinematic Visions embed your brand where it belongs, in your customers' minds. You can find them online at cinematicvisions.com or with a quick phone call at 816-600-6300. I'm here with David Schmidt from Private Capital. And David, tell us more about your outstanding firm.
Thanks, Danny. Here at Private Capital, we focus on return on asset. In today's world, it is survival of the fittest. We look at things from all angles and try to figure out what works best for you. The changes we will see this next year on assets will be monumental. The key to success is knowledge. Know where you want to go, and we'll be here along the way. To find out more, give us a call at 816-221-7775.
David Schmidt from Private Capital with the best service for you. Firsthand, I have enjoyed the benefits of the CBD products from Canaway. My back feels better and better these days, as a major part of my routine are the pain-relieving salve and the pure gold oil. And recently, I had the pleasure of a treatment session using the Canaway CBD in conjunction with the Microlight 830 cold laser. The non-invasive treatment session worked wonders, and I could barely tell I was even being touched. TML 830 is the first 3B cold laser to get FDA approval, and in addition, the combination treatment with CBD is patent pending. The new Smart Laser is the only hands-free cold laser in the world and is used by athletic trainers, chiropractors, MDs, physical therapists, and veterinarians everywhere. You can learn more about all the great benefits from the complete line of Canaway CBD products by contacting my friend Sherry McCants at 515-208-6312. That's 515-208-6312 to get outstanding information about Canaway.
If you'd like to join these and other great sponsors and market your business to a growing and engaged audience, contact us at danny@dannyclinkscale.com. Look forward to hearing from you.
Welcome back. It's Monday Musings, and it's brought to you by Dillon's Heating and Cooling, and it's brought to you by winning teams in Kansas City. How about that? Let's start with the Kansas City Royals. A 2-0 victory on Sunday. Could have made things a lot easier on themselves if they hadn't left 1,000 runners on base and went just 1 for 13 with runners in scoring position and left the bases loaded 3 times. But all that matters is they get the win, as the Royals squandered opportunities in the first inning, bases loaded, second inning, bases loaded. But meanwhile, Brady Singer was having a few control issues of his own, but he was getting in and out of less trouble than Robbie Ray was for the Toronto Blue Jays, and Singer ended up going 6 very effective innings. And, well, one thing that Brady Singer's probably thinking is, am I going to be that guy this year? Because Brady Singer has made 4 starts now, and the Royals have scored exactly 0 runs when he has been on the mound in those 4 starts. 0 runs of run support, but all he can do is go out and do his job, which he did, lowering his ERA to 3.77. Basically, he's had 2 starts where he's given up a few runs, and he's had 2 starts where he's given up no runs. And he was backed up by a bullpen of Kyle Zimmer, Josh Staumont, and Greg Holland, and the Royals retired the last 17 straight batters, and obviously that means that Zimmer, Staumont, and Holland didn't give anything up. And I think a lot of people, when Greg Holland's coming in the game right now, are probably feeling a little bit, maybe not 1,000% really that positive about the way things might turn out. He seems to try to get batters to, swing out of the strike zone to start the at-bat, and then if he has to, he'll challenge them, and it's working right now, and that's exactly what happened. He fell behind every batter that he faced in the 3 batters in the 9th inning, but he ended up getting them all out, and he did it with a fastball that was 93, 94 miles an hour, but the batters didn't seem to be kept picking up on it, and he's certainly walked some batters so far this year, 6, but he has also gotten the job done, and he now has a couple of saves. So he gets a save on Saturday, a win on Sunday, and I think Royals fans really like when the Royals are winning, and Salvador Perez is a big part of it as well. The final swing of the night on Saturday night, as the Royals split a doubleheader, was Sal Perez's big deep home run on the as he led off the bottom of the 7th inning. 7-inning games played in doubleheaders these days, and he had the only 2 RBI in this particular game, as he hit a home run also in the 7th inning, but it wasn't a home run that was in the final inning as the 7th inning. That's 5 home runs now. That's second in all of Major League Baseball. That's 4 home runs to put his team ahead. That's first in Major League Baseball, and the Royals get the victory by a count of 2-0. They did something on this particular Sunday, yesterday, that they don't often do, of course, which is draw a lot of walks. And usually if the Royals are drawing walks, that probably is more on the opposition than it is on them, but you'll take it on a day like that, and that's one of the reasons they had all these opportunities that they ended up squandering. But if you don't give up any, all you need is a couple to win, and that absolutely is the case. Let's check out where the batters are these days on this particular Monday as we pulse check the Kansas City Royals. Whit Merrifield was 0 for 2, but he did draw a couple of walks, which he doesn't do that often. He's sitting at .321. Carlos Santana got himself over 200 with a couple of knocks and a walk, and he certainly has been reaching base all season long, but he hasn't been getting his share of hits, and he got a couple, and he's a player who can get streaky hot as far as his batting average is concerned over a week, 2-week period, and maybe this is the start of a good streak for him. Sal Perez with the home run, his only hit in 5 at-bats, and He's up to 291, and he's slugging 616, and he started off the season well, then he went through a real bad patch, and now he's really contributed again and making the fans really happy. And Salvy splashing, he sort of hinted that he might bring the Salvy splash back, but the only Salvy splashing he's doing right now is hitting the ball into the fountain, as I mentioned before, and he did that on Sunday. Jorge Soler continues to look like somebody who's not really comfortable at the plate. Thought he was starting to get some better swings, but struck out again in this ball game on Sunday, and just 167 on the season. But you expect him to heat up a little bit. Hanser Alberto got some starts during the course of this series. He brings some infectious energy to the ballpark, but he's not hitting yet, just 233. And Hunter Dozier did have a base hit, a couple nice defensive plays, but he continues to struggle at 152. Michael Taylor's in a big slump. He didn't have a hit in the series, but he did pitch in with a couple of walks. And he didn't start one game on Saturday, and that was the first game he hasn't started this year. With all the Blue Jays starters in this series being left-handed, Kyle Isbell had missed the first 3 games of the series, but Mike Matheny decided to put him out there against a lefty. In this particular game, he got a couple of hits. They were infield hits, but still, any batter will take them. He's at 290 for the season, and Nicky Lopez, 1 for 4 in the ballgame, sitting at 282 and made some nice defensive plays as well. And we're starting to see Adalberto Mondesi do some light work as far as the infield is concerned. He is not even throwing the ball yet. He's just fielding grounders. So you take that very cautiously with him, because certainly Nicky Lopez is doing the job, and the Royals are doing the job, and they are 4 games over 500, and they are 9-5, and they are in first place. And it's always nice to win on Sunday because it sort of puts the conclusion to any series, which they win 3 out of 4 against the Blue Jays. They've got a very good Tampa Bay Rays team coming to town, but as we've seen for the Royals, played good teams so far this year, but they've had some compromising situations as far as injury and such, and the Rays aren't playing their best ball, but they haven't been playing their best ball, but they've played their best ball against the Yankees, and they beat them again on Sunday. And so they come to town with a little momentum as the Yankees, I'm sure anybody who's in Kansas City likes to hear these words, they are off to a horrendous start. They are 5-10, just about the opposite of the Royals, who are 9-4 as they get set to start the series tonight against the Blue Jays, or the Rays. They already took care of the Blue Jays, as I've been talking about for several minutes here, so you think I would know. But one thing we do know is that when the Royals are winning, Mike Matheny's in a good mood, and he was on Sunday. Starting off with his thoughts about Salvador Perez.
I don't need to tell people in Kansas City that, but just to watch what he does day in, day out. We've talked a lot about it, but I don't think we could talk too much. Yeah, he's just that's what leaders do. I mean, you have to have exceptional talent, but sometimes we need somebody to step in the gap, and that's what he's doing right now.
Mike, you mentioned the pressure. I think 5 stolen bases today. Just how much is that what you guys want to do in terms of providing pressure to these opposing teams? Yeah,
it's part of who we are. I mean, if you have a team that doesn't have the instincts or the speed to do it, you're not going to force that. But that's the kind of team that we have, and guys that are smart base runners. You look at Santana also taking off on a dirt ball read, which then puts on more pressure. Every time we get in a scoring position, it puts on more on the pitcher and the catcher. And they had a lot of pressure on them all day long. And that's the kind of team that we want to be. Usually it's going to turn into more runs than what it turned in today. But I think it's all relative. You know, you're able to get into their bullpen a little bit sooner by being able to work counts, put pressure on the defense, and make the pitcher sometimes think about the run game to them. Maybe you're not making the best pitch that you could potentially make. I mean, it all goes hand in hand, and it's part of the team that we need to be.
This is the club's best start in 10 years. Can you talk about how much confidence you have in your starting rotation right now?
Yeah, confidence really in everybody. The rotation as well as the pen. Being able to hand it over there, going into the 7th and realize that we've got some guys that we trust to get the job done. But it all hinges on our starting rotation. We know that. And we need these guys to take some of that day in, day out grind from the bullpen and pitch a little deeper into the game. But getting 6 strong innings from Brady, that's as much as we could really ask for at this point. But he's going to be if he continues in that attack, we've used that now a few times, right? We used it with Keller, saying that was something that he was missing a little bit early. We said that with Junis. That was the difference of why he's been able to be more effective. They have good stuff, but now they're attacking the strike zone, not the middle of the zone, but making good quality pitches, and that's what Brady did today. They're going to set the tempo and the tone for our entire season, and it's nice to see all these guys going back with Duffy, continuing to improve and figure out ways to go deeper into the games.
Josh?
What has Josh Stallman shown you back-to-back days of fish-it outings against the heart of that Toronto lineup?
I'm glad you said that, Josh, because I think something's been made out of that in the past. To be able to check that, hey, not only did I come back-to-back, he threw inning in the third yesterday, comes back today and goes right through the meat of that order. It's a big deal and something that we made a big deal of, so I'm glad you pointed that out because it's a step forward for Josh and his development.
Mike, you touched on it, but just how big of a swing is it, maybe just emotionally or just on the outlook of the game when, you had all those opportunities that sort of came up just a little bit short and then Salvy puts you over the top? I mean, is it almost like a little bit of a release of tension there because you guys were so close?
I think anytime you're locked in a 0-0 tie and you've had so many opportunities. I mean, you're talking in the first, there was chance, and we just need somebody to help us get over that next hurdle of running somebody across the plate. And there's no guarantees in this game. I mean, you watched a very good pitcher on their side continue to make tough pitches when he got backed against the wall, and he kept finding ways out of it until next thing you know, man, this thing could go either way. It's who's going to get the big hit. And so, yeah, the longer those games go, the more that tension builds up. But when you got a 2-run lead and against a team like this, we watched it happen. They can get rid of that in a hurry. So we've got to still bear down, play defense, and come out with some making some good pitches. 2's not one to get comfortable with, but certainly was a whole lot of fun to see somebody be able to. And fortunately for us, it was Salvy again.
Carlos, wrap it up.
Hi, Mike. How are you preparing for the series against Tampa Bay?
Well, I'm going to finish being really happy about taking 3 of 4 first. But, truly, we do start a lot of our preparation days before, just so we can make sure that we get all the looks that we need. But try not to take our focus off of the current team that we're playing with. But Tampa's got a good team. Everybody knows that. They've got a deep lineup. And they always have arms and creative ways to use them. So it's going to be a good series. But really proud the boys are pulling off this series this time, and looking forward to watching them do it again.
Yes, indeed, another good team comes to town, but it hasn't seemed to matter for the Royals, who are the only team in the American League that hasn't lost a series yet, and Danny Duffy tries to continue his role. This is just about the time where Danny Duffy lets us down a little bit after 2 great starts, 6 innings in each one of them, 1 earned run total given up by Danny Duffy, and really good in his last start. And we'll see if he can. Doesn't mean that he can't have a fine season if he doesn't pitch well tonight, but Duffy would, well, during his 10 years with the Royals, often has had the flashes that make you think that something special is about to happen, and then he kind of returns to earth. Let's see if the Royals don't return to earth on this Monday night, and starting the series with Tampa, a 3-game series to conclude what has been a great homestand so far as the Royals sit at 9-5. Up next, we've got Sporting Kansas City and how they rolled out their season, and it was special. A little wacky, but it was definitely special. We'll check that out and a couple neat stories from the world of golf as well as we continue on Monday Musings. That's Danny Sports Wrap. It's brought to you by Dillon's Heating and Cooling.
More of Danny's Reasonably Irreverent podcast after this.
We're here once again with Dr. Brad Woodall from Advanced Sports and Family Chiropractic and Acupuncture. Springtime, good weather's finally here. People want to stay active, and it's your job to make sure that they can stay active, and be healthy.
Danny, we see a lot of not just weekend warriors, but people that every day are having that want to get back to activity. Whether you're starting with walking, jogging, or maybe that first 5K of the year, we want to help you out. We specialize in taking care of all ages, from kids all the way to grandmas and grandpas, but absolutely specialize in getting you back to full function and keeping you in great shape.
So in short, how do we go about doing that?
The first thing is to schedule a consultation with one of our doctors and therapists so we can see how you move and how you're supposed to move. Based on our assessment, we can put together a short treatment plan and a set of goals to help you both feel better, function better, and most importantly, stay better for this year and many years to come.
Learn more at asfca.com/Danny. That's asfca.com/Danny.
Right now, it's more important than ever to support local businesses, and 23rd Street Brewery in Lawrence is open and ready to take care of you. Make 23rd Street Brewery part of your KU game day experience, whether you watch the game there or grab curbside pickup for your tailgates or watch parties.
But not just game days, 23rd Street Brewery is great any day of the week, and when the weather's nice, you can take advantage of their heaters on the patio. 23rd Street Brewery is open daily from 11:30 to 9 for dine-in, carry-out, curbside pickup, and can even help with your catering needs.
So support local and visit a Lawrence favorite, 23rd Street Brewery.
I'm here with Joe Spiker, owner of Easton Roofing, and boy, we had to negotiate a million things in 2020, but Easton Roofing navigated them all. As 2021 rolls out, what should we expect this coming storm season?
Well, Danny, it'll be the same thing as it is every year. The storms come, and you've got the guys out knocking on doors offering quote-unquote free inspections. Be wary as a homeowner. If somebody's knocking on your door, they probably need the work, and if they need the work that bad, they may be willing to do something untoward to get it. So if somebody knocks on your door, says they want to give you a free inspection, just tell them have a great day and give us a call. We'll come out for free and give you a good, honest opinion as to whether or not you need to do anything at all with your roof.
And what's the best way to get in touch with Easton Roofing?
You can always find us online at eastonroofing.com or give us a call at 913-257-5426.
Easton Roofing, integrity matters. I'm here with Tim Emerson, the owner of Emerson & Company. And Tim, give us an idea of the range of services that you provide from Emerson & Company.
At Emerson & Company, we do credit card processing, payroll services. We do bookkeeping, merchant accounts like point-of-sale systems.
What would you say differentiates you from other companies in the field, and what makes you special?
I think what makes us unique is that we're a small local business making regional decisions on companies. We create a profile for the business and then put it out to our different vendors in a very competitive environment and tailor those needs to the specific business, which usually ends up in a great fit or great result for the company.
And, of course, the idea is to save money, right?
Save money, and actually sometimes I'm surprised where actually a solution that may cost a little bit more ultimately does save money, but we're not conditioned to think like that sometimes.
Emerson & Company. Check them out at emerson-co.com or call them at 816-360-9092. If you'd like to join these and other great sponsors and market your business to a growing and engaged audience, contact us at danny@dannyclinkscale.com. Look forward to hearing from you. Welcome back, and let's call it weird and wonderful. How's that? A little alliteration for you as Sporting Kansas City opened up their season at Red Bull Arena in New York, and they take one over the New York Red Bulls 2-1. New York holds the MLS record for the most opening day wins. They're extremely difficult to beat at home, and Sporting not only won, they had to come from behind to do it, as they did it under extremely trying circumstances as well. They were missing 3 goalkeepers, so 19-year-old John Pulskamp became the youngest Sporting goalkeeper to play in an MLS match and the youngest MLS goalkeeper to win a game since 2010. He was one of 3 Sporting players making their debut in the starting lineup. They join a pair of Frenchmen in center back Nicolas Izamat-Mirin and holding midfielder Remy Walter. That's easier to say. And Sporting also featured a squad that had 9 homegrown players. That's an all-time record for the club. To start off with, what they didn't have was not only their regular goalkeeper Tim Melia, who's out for a while. They did not have a fully fit Johnny Russell or a fully fit Alan Pulido. So it was a bit of a makeshift lineup for Sporting Kansas City, and that probably resulted in the fact that all across the world, the Red Bull organization, which has teams in many leagues across the world, likes to play a very aggressive pressing style, and they also play a lot of long balls as well. So Sporting kind of played it a little cagey in the first half, and the first half was certainly one that only produced 0. Well, I don't know if that produces anything when you say 0 combined shots on goal. That's only the 8th time that's happened in Sporting history. And Yadi Kinda and 18-year-old Gianluca Busio, who was deployed as a center forward on Saturday, combined to almost give Sporting the lead in the 12th minute, only to see a scrambling clear later on. But it was, as I say, a pretty cagey affair in the first half as Sporting was trying to sit back a little, read things. You'll hear from Peter Vermes in a little bit, and he'll break down maybe why they were playing in that particular fashion. But the game kind of sprang to life in the second half, and when that happens, oftentimes it's because of a goal. And the Red Bulls sort of got a goal out of nowhere as Kyle Duncan found a pocket of space to cross near the right corner flag. And although Ismail Marin won his defensive header at the far post, it kind of bounced very neatly to the 17-year-old sensation Caden Clark, and he did a nice job on a volley up near his chest, and that gave them the goal. But Sporting would come back within 8 or 9 minutes of that and scored back-to-back goals in a minute apart. First time they've done that in a long, long time, as Gadi Kinda converted a 59th minute penalty kick on a very obvious handball by New York Red Bulls, and Daniel Shalaway slotted home in the 60th minute, a tap-in off a nice developing play all the way up the field. Actually, Busio might have been able to score it, and Shalaway might have been able to score it in tap-in fashion. They were both there, and Shalaway gets his first goal since the 2019 campaign, and as we'll hear, that's a reward for some great play and also a relief for Shalaway, who was such a sensation during that 2019 season. And Sporting did indeed respond admirably to the setback. Once Sporting Kansas City got the lead, they did a really good job of not allowing a whole lot from the New York Red Bulls after that, and then they put on Johnny Russell and Polito in the 77th minute. Those guys provided a potential threat. Polito provided a real person to do some holding up of the ball, and so they had a lot of possession towards the end of the game, and it really was, for a one-goal match, not a particularly great amount of tension down the stretch as Vermes' side closed out a hard-earned 3 points in the team's first regular season game in over 5 months. And now, of course, Sporting will return to Children's Mercy Park for the highly anticipated home opener. We'll talk about that in just a minute. But the man to talk about things with reporters after the game is always the man who gives you a really clear-eyed look at any particular game. And here's Peter Vermes.
I would have said prior to the game, and I don't mean this in a bad way, you never know what the mentality is like until you start facing situations of adversity. And so having come into a place like this where it's very, very difficult to play, you add in that there's another layer, and I think that they're a very aggressive, high-pressing team that – and also just likes to play the ball long once you step out to them, it becomes a very frantic game. And I thought our players handled it extremely well. I thought the first half, they stayed in the game. I thought we started well. We were under pressure a little bit in the middle part of the half. And then in the end of the half, I thought we started to feel ourselves. They come out and score, kind of, I think a fluke, kind of such a good goal, but a fluke the way it got there. And the resiliency in the group to come back and get 2 goals like they did and not fold. Excellent. I would say, for first game to come back from something like that, just an excellent mentality.
And then you have the opportunity to bring off Alan and Johnny from the bench. Obviously, you like them starting, but it felt like, the hold-up play was a bit better. You guys almost calmed down and controlled the game despite holding on to a 1 or 2-1 lead. Just how big was it having those guys come off the bench?
Well, the first thing I'll say is I actually thought that Busio was fantastic for us because I think that he helped us so much in not giving their guys time on the ball, especially for 70 minutes of the game, and putting them under pressure. And his timing to release, to go, was tremendous. What I would say is that when those 2 guys came on the field, obviously they give us experience. It's on top of what they can do, but it's just experience late in the game. And then, the hold-up play was tremendous by Allen. Johnny put them under pressure. And now they got to think differently in the game, although I thought that Danny was just – he was a lot to handle for them as well. He had great movement off the ball. And then, I could speak about a lot of guys. I could speak about the whole team. I thought the team actually performed really well. I thought both Issy and Remy, for their first game, great performance. And then very happy for John Pool's camp. He kept his composure. I think he learned a lot today as well, in a good way. Not because he did anything wrong, just that playing in a game like this, getting a win and doing the things that he did, managing the game, was just very, very good for his overall experience.
Next question goes to Thad Bell with SB Nation. Thad, your line is open.
Hey, Peter. Well, I was going to ask about Pulse Camp, but since you just talked about him, how about how important or how good is it for Shallowy to get that goal in the first game of the season to kind of get some confidence and momentum for this year?
It doesn't surprise me because he's been doing so well in preseason. He came in, great mentality, fit, worked. He's worked on both sides of the ball. Like I said earlier, his movement off the ball was tremendous today. I thought he caused a lot of problem for the right back because he was just getting in behind him and he was putting him under pressure. And there's no doubt that in my mind that Daniel has all those aspects that go with the game. And I'm very happy that he got the goal tonight because it was a great, as I said earlier, you guys heard me say it was a magnificent goal. Just the build up, the way we got there, we work on that stuff pretty regularly. So to see that happen is pretty rewarding even for the coaching staff.
Next question goes to Daniel Sperry with Last Word on Soccer. Daniel, your line is open.
Hey, Peter. In the first half, I saw fullbacks playing a lot of early balls into the box, crosses. I don't know if I've seen it as often or as much as we did in that first half today. Is that a directive just because of how quickly Red Bulls closed down, or is that something that we might continue to see going forward from them?
Part of it was a nuance for the team we played, but there's no doubt that we have the capacity for that as well to put a team under pressure. So I would say that sure you'll see that, and you'll see other things as well. We still have a lot of work to do, but this was a good first step today.
And Sporting does open it up on Friday against Orlando City Soccer Club, 6:30 p.m. Central Time. The game is sold out. It will be shown nationally on Fox Sports 1, Fox Deportes, and the Fox Sports app. Sporting hasn't really said how many fans that they're allowed to have. They're starting with 35%. They actually have said that they're allowed to have more fans than that, but they don't say how many more. Just down the road, the Kansas City Monarchs, obviously playing in, just a 2-minute drive away, they are allowing 50% capacity at theirs, so you would kind of get the idea that right now in Wyandotte County they're allowed 50%. One thing we know is that Tim Elia won't be returning. Pulse Camp's likely to be playing goal again, and the fitness of Alan Polito is always something of a mystery. It's been the really only downside to that signing in the time since he's come aboard. When he plays, he's excellent, but he has not been available all that much. Johnny Russell got a knock that was not talked about earlier in the week, so you would think that he might be pretty much near full fitness, but Sporting will have a good amount of momentum as they head into their opener. It's tough to go to New York, it's tough to win in Red Bull Arena, and it's tough to come back on the Red Bulls, and they did all three of them in a 2-1 victory that put smiles on their fans' faces and just everyone around Sporting Kansas City. Great way to start the season. Let's finish up with a couple of really kind of inspirational and nice golf stories as well. The Kansas City Star has a front page story, and I don't know what a front page story is anymore. Most people don't get the physical paper. If you look at it online and just put in KC Star, basically a whole bunch of stories come up. If you go to the e-edition, then there actually is a virtual paper that looks like a newspaper, and there is a front page story, and it is about Chris Harris and what he's doing in Kansas City's Ivanhoe neighborhood. He came up with a vision many years ago to try to transform this particular neighborhood near his house at 40th and Wayne Avenue. And after years of building and fundraising, he bought up the entire block. And what he's done there is create parkland, basketball court. They've renovated housing. They've invigorated the neighborhood. And they have built a golf course, a free golf course where anybody can go and play. The equipment's free, too. Basically, you can figure up a way to play an 18-hole round. It's basically a pitch and putt style golf course. There are 3 greens, there are 9 tees, and it's set right in his neighborhood. In fact, he put the golf course itself eventually, after doing other projects through the years and fundraising and eventually getting the help of the PGA Tour, right where his house used to be. He left a tree there as a memento of that time and moved elsewhere, but he's had a lot of public support. He, at one point in time, went to Mission Hills to check out their equipment and things like that, eventually took a part-time job there and learned the ropes as far as building a golf course, working as basically just a worker on the golf course and raking traps and cleaning brush and all that other good stuff. And he's dedicated himself to this particular project. It's a great story. The Star's done actually 3 or 4 stories through the years about this project, but it's really some unbelievably nice green space in the area, and it's a great story of people coming out and seeing the opportunity to play golf where they ordinarily wouldn't be able to do so, and maybe think of it as sort of a lily-white sport. And what a great project it is, and it was really fun to read that story. So I direct you to the Kansas City Star for this great story about Chris Harris and his little golf course, a little piece of heaven right in the area of Harris Park, it's called now, in Kansas City's Ivanhoe neighborhood, near his house, or his former house, at 40th Street and Wayne Avenue. For the second consecutive week on the PGA Tour, a tournament was held where the winner gets to wear a jacket, or get a jacket that he won't wear anywhere else and shouldn't wear anywhere else. Of course, last year it's the green jacket at the Masters, and this week it's the plaid or tartan jacket at the Heritage, but it did create a really emotional family story. Now, I'm sure here in the Kansas City area, there aren't a whole lot of Stewart Cink fans. Of course, Cink was the person who beat Tom Watson in the playoff at the British Open in 2009, and that marked certainly a high point for Stewart Cink, and it marked the start of a lot of low points for him. He went through the entire 2010s without winning another golf tournament before he won last fall at Safeway, and now he has become only the second player on tour this year, along with Bryson DeChambeau, to win multiple tournaments. And he did so with his son Reagan on the bag, just as he was in the fall. Reagan put his career in the airline industry on hold to start caddying for his dad after he graduated from Georgia Tech. And on this Sunday, he had a big lead and really wasn't challenged much of the day and held up just perfectly. And their exchanges, Reagan and Stewart Cink's, were quite fun to listen to. More fun than Jordan Spieth, as you heard me talk about before. Anyway, also his older son came in for the day from Wyoming. He kind of looks like he might be some kind of a person who lives out in the wild. But anyway, and his wife was there, and the wives of these young guys as well. So it was really kind of an emotional scene. He got to soak it all in and couldn't really put it into words, but it was really cool. And even if you got bitter memories of Stewart Cink beating Tom Watson back in the day, this was really a cool thing for a player now who is almost approaching his 48th birthday and has won multiple times on the PGA Tour. And this time around, for the second time in just a matter of months, he does so with his son as his caddy. His son will be caddying with him through the end of the summer and then go back to the real world as he's getting married towards the end of the summer and then moving on to his career in the airline industry. But for now, the father-son caddy team is ruling the PGA Tour. That wraps it up for another edition of Monday Musings, Danny Sports Wrap, right here on the Reasonably Irreverent podcast. It's all brought to you by Dillon's Heating and Cooling, and we'll be back at you all through the week with all the things that we do right here. And make sure you pay attention right here at DannyClinkscale.com and the Reasonably Irreverent podcast, of course, over at patreon.com/DannyClinkscale as well. You be well.
We hope you enjoyed the latest Danny Clinkscale Reasonably Irreverent podcast. Come back soon for something fresh and new. This podcast was made possible by our great sponsors like
Dillon's Heating and Cooling, treating you like family with expert and affordable HVAC services.